back. War number 5. Here are the scores. We have our first donut of the season. It's GT40 against SSX. I believe that GT40 has died 2 times total in the last 3 wars against pretty strong competition, so they are certainly back in form. And GT40 could die 15 times in War 6, and the second-ranked Efficiency Alliance could die 0 times, and GT40 would still be number 1 in efficiency. That's how good they are, and that's how much better they are than everybody else. But SSX came into this war 4-0. They were 3rd on the in-game leaderboard. This was destined to happen. They were going to match GT40 at some point if they kept winning. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of, I don't want to be disrespectful. That's kind of expected. Doesn't change the fact that SSX has been awesome this season, and I think that they are still very much in the top 3 conversation, but GT40 is just on their own level. And then JA, they squeak out a win against Matrix 6-8. DSVG, they lose to D69. D69 has now beaten DSVG and JA this season. 2 of the top 4 alliances last season, so that's pretty crazy. They're obviously having a phenomenal start, and they're very much in the top 3 conversation at this point as well. TCN, a 2-death clear, so they've been very strong again this season. They have had a couple wars, that are in the higher single digits, which is unlike them, but they're a really strong alliance. And then for Loki, they came into this war 2nd on the endgame leaderboard, and they matched LVT last season. The war ended in a tie, but they won on... No, I'm sorry. They ended up winning by 1 last season. But this season we're able to take 1 back. So we improved to 4-1. They dropped to 4-1. I do want to note that they had a lead 6-7 with about 10 fights left. They ended up dropping 1 to tie it, and we finished the rest of our fights without dying anymore. We had them beat on time. So we had that war won at that point, and then they unfortunately got kind of stuck on 1 fight, and that caused somebody to have to take a boss with a suboptimal counter, and that's kind of why it ended up being 10-7, but it was much, much closer than 10-7. So, all right, and then here are the updates. GT40, of course, they're number 1. TCN jumps 2 spots. They're 3-2, but they're 2nd in efficiency and 3rd in strength of schedule. Another thing that, I just typically, there's not enough space on this update graphic to showcase it, but keep in mind, guys, that there are 5 scoring categories. Efficiency is 1, strength of schedule is 1, and wins are 1. But the other 2 are defense rating, which is the number of kills above the opponent's average deaths on the season your alliance gets. That was a suggestion by an officer in Noon this offseason, which I loved and implemented. TCN is 1st in that category. They have, I presume, more rank 5s than any rank 5 6-stars than any other alliance. And they just have really, really big accounts. They have a really strong defense. And so far through this season, they have caused their opponents to die more above their opponent's average than any other alliance in the world. So keep that in mind. And then DSVG, with their 2nd really strong win against a top alliance, they move up 1 spot. They're 4-1. They're 13th in efficiency, which is by far the lowest of any of those top 5s. But they're 5th in strength of schedule. They've faced really tough competition. They have some very strong wins, and they are 3rd in that defense rating category. So they're getting a lot of points from that category as well. Plus TCN and D69 are also getting points in the margin of victory category or the death differential category. And then Salty. So Salty, they're 3-2. They're up 3 spots from 7th to 4th. And their big thing is they are tied with JA in terms of lost bonuses so far this season. So they are tied for 3rd in efficiency. But their competition has been really, really steep. They're 4th in strength of schedule. And I believe that their 2 losses were against, I think at least one of them was against the Podium Alliance last season, and maybe 2 of them. I can't remember exactly what they are, but they've been really, really good, and they just do not die. So, they're another one of those alliances that I think you should look out for finishing in the top 3. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. And then SSX. Okay, so SSX, they're up 4 spots. So they were 4-0, third on the in-game leaderboard, as I mentioned. They were only 11th through 4 wars because their strength of schedule is fairly low relative to other alliances. They're 13th in efficiency, tied with D69 for the number of deaths on the season, but they jumped from 21st in strength of schedule to 12th in strength of schedule just by virtue of matching GT40, even though they didn't even really have a very efficient clear. So, and then for Loki, they stay the same. They stay at number 8 despite the loss, and the reason for that is because matching LVT improved their strength of schedule from unranked to rank 24, which is still fairly low, but it gives them points in the strength of schedule category, which they were not getting prior to this war. All right, and then 11 through 20 here. Noon moves up 1. They're 3-2. They're 9th in efficiency, 9th in strength of schedule. LVT moves up 1 with the win over 4 Loki. They're 4-1. 16th in efficiency, 16th in strength of schedule. You guys can kind of go through this list. Sweeta's Alliance dropped another war. Unfortunately, they're down to 1-4, but they moved up 1. They're 16th now. They're 13th in efficiency, 7th in strength of schedule. But I want to go over a few things here. XK9, New Nation, Legion, and Sweeta's Alliance all have negative defense ratings and negative death differentials so far this season. So they're getting 0 points in 2 of the 5 scoring categories, which is one of the things that's hurting their rank. So all of those alliances, like take Noon for example, they're 11th right now. They just had a war where they only died 3 times. They're obviously a very strong alliance. They're obviously better than the 11th ranked alliance in the world. Once they get their their margin of victory above into a positive range, and once they get their defense rating into a positive range, they're going to gain points from those categories, and they should shoot up, a couple spots at the very least. So, anyway, that is it, guys. Leave a like and a comment. Let me know what you think. You guys can access the master sheet with the updated rankings, where all of the data for all of the scoring categories and 50 alliances that started this season on the sheet you can see all of that information yourself. It's in the description box, there's a link. Go ahead and click that. So anyway, leave a like and a comment. I will catch you guys in the next update, and good luck to everybody in War 6.